everyone, this is Zoe from Sugar Street Studios. So nice to see you again. If you are new here, hello and welcome. This is the home of all sorts of fun cake art where I share with you my tips and tricks for just getting the most out of your cakes. If you are new here, consider subscribing. We would absolutely love to have you. And you know, if there's anything that occurs to you while you watch the video, just pop a message down below, ask me and I will come back to you. So on today's program, this is part 3 of our series on cake textures. So if you haven't seen part 1, part 2, go check them out. We did grass, we did stone. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be looking at 3 different ways that you can create really effective wood effects for your cakes. Number 1, natural wood. Whether you're going for an ash or an oak or a mahogany, you can use these techniques to just create a natural wood, which is useful for so many different things. Number 2, painted wood. You don't always want brown, do you? If you're doing a cute little baby shower cake, for example, you might want a nice kind of pink floor with a nice whitewash top over it. So painted wood is a really, really useful one. So I'm going to show you that in the second tip. And number 3, wood bark. Now there are loads of different impression mats that you can buy to create wood bark out there on the market. I'm going to show you a way how you can create wood bark without an impression mat. That is it. So I'm going to aim for an oak colour here. I've mixed brown and yellow, and you can see I've left the gel colours quite streaky so that when I roll out the paste, I'm getting a natural, almost like a wood grain already in it. Now you could just stop at that. That's how you could do it. But I'm just going to add a little bit more detailing to that and a bit more colour. This is a wood grain stencil. By pressing in, I'm creating a very faint impression into that fondant, and you can see I've not done it particularly regularly. I've done it all in the same direction but not all over, and that's because I want to create something a little bit more organic. Going in with my Dresden tool, creating additional lines and additional knots gives me that effect, and just means that it just doesn't look so cookie cutter really. To colour it, you want to use dusts. I've used a mixture again with my tones of colour, creams and browns and a little bit of black, and I'm building that colour up slowly, sticking with my horizontal grain. Always keep the grain in the same direction, and just build that up, making sure that those knots are slightly darker. And as you rub your brush over the sugar paste, it will pick up that lovely faint indentation from the stencil that we pushed in, and it's really effective. You can do exactly the same, but with a mahogany base and darker colours, or ash and lighter colours. I've chosen a grey for my base colour for the painted wood, but obviously you can choose whatever colour you like. This effect looks great as floorboards, so mark out some floorboards using a ruler and a blade knife like I'm showing you here, and then you want to texture each plank, each board, using your tool as shown. Irregularity, some straight, some wobbly, and a few knots, and then make sure that you go in between each of the planks just to soften those edges slightly. Once you're happy, you then want to paint the next tone up onto your sugar paste. I've got charcoal grey here mixed with a rejuvenated spirit, and I'm just applying again in horizontal strokes across my paste, and I'm going to increase the colour depth of that bit by bit, so that I can get a real distinction between the edges and the in-between bits of the board. Once you're happy with that and it's dry, take some dry petal dust and really work in those cracks and crevices. I've used black and cream. That will probably work for most base colours actually, but just go gently and just use your sort of colour intuition with what will work. But you just want to create the impression that there's gaps, if you like, in between those wood planks. So that really works. And then once you have done that and you're happy with it, you can create a lovely whitewash over the top. Don't be too heavy-handed here. It's white petal dust and rejuvenated spirit or vodka painted over. This colour will sink in, so you want to do it gradually and in stages. And if you put too much on, you can always blot it off with a little bit of kitchen towel. But once it has settled, you can see that it creates this really sort of lovely limed look. For the wood bark, you're going to need sugar paste that has dried out to the base colour that you want. Leave it for a few hours, and wafer paper torn into strips. You want that lovely jaggedy edge. You're probably going to need a few sheets of wafer paper here, and then take your dried out paste and wet it simply with a brush and water, and slowly begin to apply your torn strips of wafer paper. Now what you want to do, and you might see there that was accidental, that piece, but you actually want to apply your strips in the same direction, because bark peels the same way. So don't be haphazard, keep it all linear, whichever linear way you are going. Brush water on the underside and on the top. You want to make sure that the wafer paper, is nicely sort of adhered to the sugar paste. So just work your way across, leaving some gaps of sugar paste in between. Leave it for about 15 minutes, and then take a rolling pin and push and press quite hard over the top. What that's going to do is it's going to open up that wafer paper even more and create more cracks. Now, if you want to add a little bit more texture, which I did, I went back in with some small torn strips of wafer paper, and I'm just applying. I'm applying in layers all the time, again attaching with a little bit of water. Once you are happy with how it looks, leave it to dry before you start dusting. Very, very important. Once it is dry, you can then go in with colour dusts of your choice. Again, think quite wide on your colours, not just brown. I've gone for brown with ochre, I've gone for brown with a bit of grey, I've gone for 2 different colours of brown, and I am applying those bit by bit, colour layer by colour layer, rubbing in. And what's happening is that those colours are absorbing into that gorgeous texture that we created, giving you this lovely mottled organic look to the bark. If you want to apply this to a round cake tier, my suggestion is you make this in one big strip, all prepared off the cake, and then you wrap it around the cake afterwards. Or you can cut it into panels and stick it onto the cake that way. And that is it. 3 ways to do wood. So you've got your sort of painted version, your natural version, and then your back to nature natural version, your wood bark. So I hope you have found that useful. So that is it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that, and it was so nice to see you. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon. Bye.